Hi, I'm Max.
And I'm Steven.
We're Max and Stevens.
And we're also from the famous radio show Understanding CBD every Sunday on WCBM.
We also have a website, understandingcbd.com.
Well, that's enough about plugging us. We're
Right.
here today to answer some of the top questions CBD consumers have in the marketplace, because it's so confusing when you're buying a product. Where do you go? What do you look for?
Right. And Tuesdays when we're at the farmer's market, we have the benefit of being in front of the people. And when we're talking to the people, they have very common questions. So what we wanted to do was put together a nice, concise video for all of you with our most common questions asked.
That's right. So we're going to go through, I don't know how many it is, how many we can fit on the video. But then at the end, you either have a chance to ask us questions or put comments below, and we'll make sure to get back to you. I mean, we're going to try to get everything in here on these videos. But if there's anything left, you can either ask us afterwards, give us a phone call, or mention it in the comments below.
Right. Give us a call at 443-743-2444 or email us at hello@maxandstevens.com.
Always plugging for our company. Now, what we want to do also, when we were asking these questions, we limited our time to 30 seconds. So we wanted to make sure that we were as short and concise, and we didn't really have too much prep time here. So we wanted it to be natural and raw and real for you all. So we hope you enjoy our answers to these questions. We hope we entertain you. We hope you learn something. And what else?
We put each other on the spot, and that's what this is about. It's about giving you the realest answers that we possibly can. I was even trying to heckle him, and he wouldn't flinch. He did the same for me. But at the end of the day, it's about getting you the best possible information, the most credible information in a credible way.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
What is CBD?
CBD, actually cannabidiol, is one of over 100 different compounds found in the hemp plant. The biggest benefit, and CBD is a buzzword now, but the biggest benefit of the whole hemp plant itself is the fact that there are hundreds of cannabinoids, also coupled with a ton of terpenes. When you combine the cannabinoids and terpenes, that's called the entourage effect.
Why would I use CBD?
You would use CBD if you're a human, if you're a pet, really if you're any animal. CBD helps the body maintain a homeostasis or a balance. And in our lives today and always, there's always toxicity and stress. And the body needs help sometimes overcoming it. So a little bit of CBD in your life always helps. So everybody.
Most people use CBD because they have stress and anxiety, especially now, because they have sleep issues, because they have things like chronic pain.
How do I use CBD?
CBD can be used in many different ways and depends on how it's processed. There's CBD flower, which you can smoke. There's CBD that's extracted into vapor pens that you can vaporize. Max and Stevens, we make an oil you extract and you can put under your tongue. You can also put that same oil on your skin, soft tissue, muscle, joints. Can also be mixed in with food, something fatty like peanut butter, avocado.
How would I know if a product is safe?
The only way to know if a CBD product is safe is by looking at a third-party lab report. This is a report that a company pays for and hires an outside audit, if you will, of the product itself. You want to make sure you look at one and it's tested for a full panel, so you know that it's tested for safety, heavy metals, pesticides, mold, mildew, mycotoxins, and then also the potency, how much is actually in the bottle.
Knowing that a product is safe is extremely important, especially because you can buy it anywhere now, from a gas station to a supermarket, anywhere. But the most important thing is what's called a third-party lab report. You have to make sure that a company that makes a product always has a third-party lab report. That lab report comes from an entirely different company, and they do all sorts of testing on that product. Some of the testing is safety, some of the testing is potency, but at the end of the day, the testing is the most important thing.
What is the difference between hemp and marijuana?
The biggest difference between hemp and marijuana is that hemp has a lot more CBD than THC. In the case of marijuana, marijuana has a lot more THC than CBD. In a nutshell, marijuana gives you an intoxicating feeling. Hemp does not give you an intoxicating feeling. So in hemp, you're getting all the benefits of the cannabis plant without any of the intoxicating feeling of marijuana. Sometimes people can't handle that. Nothing against marijuana, but it's not for everybody.
The difference between hemp and marijuana is really confusing for a lot of people because it's really only a legal definition. The plant, the cannabis plant, is the same. It's defined by the amount of THC in the plant. So if a test comes back on a plant that is above 0.3% THC, it's categorized as marijuana. Below 0.3, it's called hemp.
What should I look for on a label?
Great question. If you're a CBD consumer, when you look at a product, you want to make sure you can see how much is in there, how much CBD it says on the label. And it's measured by milligrams per milliliter. So you want to make sure you can see that on the label. You also want to make sure it's a credible company. So they have their company name, address, phone number, a way to get in touch with them. It's also important to have the ingredients listed right out there on the label.
You want to make sure you're dealing with a reputable company. So what you want to make sure is you want to see an ingredient list. You also want to see a company name, a website, perhaps an address, certainly a phone number. At the end of the day, if you're buying a product, you want to make sure that it's tested and you want to make sure that it's backed by a company that actually isn't afraid of having you get in contact with them. So if you see a label or a box that doesn't have any of that information, run as far away from that gas station as you can.
Are there any drug interactions to be aware of?
We don't pretend to be doctors, we're not physicians. So what we always say is always speak to your medical professional if you have any questions about any drug interactions with CBD. Having said that, anecdotal evidence has shown that a lot of our customers, if they ever do ask a question about drug interactions, we find, and really the community in general finds, that if you stagger 2 hours before or after taking any of your medications, then generally you can stay relatively safe. But always ask your physician.
They do say some medications that are impacted by grapefruits also can be impacted when you have CBD, something about how it's processed in the liver. Always check with your physician. Always safe to take it 2 hours apart to eliminate any possible conflict, but I think you're pretty safe to move forward.
What conditions could I use it for?
Any condition, really. I can tell you how I use it. I have joint pain. I use it for that. Helps to relieve a lot of the achiness and tightness I have in my joints. Also helps with anxiety. So I use some for that as well. Also helps cut cravings. It just really helps the body calm and overcome a lot of stress. So you can really use it for anything. The best way to do it is to start.
Could I fail a drug test?
If you're using marijuana and your company tests for THC, then yes, you certainly will fail a drug test, probably. However, with our product, because it contains less than 0.3% THC and it doesn't give you enough to get you intoxicated, it's probably not likely that it'll show up in a drug test. However, every employer is different and every person's body is different. Sometimes the amount that's concentrated in your body over an extended period of time can show up in a test.
Do I need to refrigerate CBD?
Personal preference. I know that people who have joint pain sometimes like a little bit of cold relief. Sometimes people don't mind a little bit of room temperature or warm relief. So CBD in general, depending on the product, I can only speak for our oil. You can have it room temperature and you could put it in the fridge and keep it a little chilled. I would not keep it on the surface of the sun. You probably don't want to keep anything that long.
Is CBD legal?
Yes, CBD is legal federally. In the 2018 Farm Bill, there was a CBD was mentioned and it was removed off the Controlled Substance Act list. So it is legal federally, and it's also available in marijuana. So the CBD extracted from marijuana is not legal. So there is some sort of confusion in the area, but in general, CBD extracted from hemp is legal.
Marijuana is federally illegal, not legal. Certain states have medical marijuana programs, actually Maryland being one of them, but not all states do. In 2018, there was a farm bill that was signed that basically gave industrial hemp the ability to be legal, federally legal. They took it off what's called the controlled substance list. That's a big deal because now, all of a sudden, states can actually grow hemp and they can make use of it.
Does CBD expire?
It's an agricultural product and it's a plant. For our bottle, when we say once you open it, it's about a year. Make sure you check the labels of any products that you purchase. There's a lot of other ingredients that they put in for stabilizers and whatnot, but you should be safe for, I know with our product, at least a year.
How much should I take?
Really, it's all about the individual person. We always recommend low and slow. Take small doses, take them several times a day. If you're comfortable taking them under the tongue, you're doing your body a great justice. If you're uncomfortable with under the tongue initially, try it topically on your skin. You can do that as often as you want, just a few drops. If you're going to take it under your tongue, about a quarter of the drop, or 0.25, is a very good dosage to start with twice a day.
Dosing and serving size is very hard to find out, and you're going to have to figure this out on your own. Start with a small serving and grow from there. So slow and steady. Another good tip I've heard is it's always great to have small servings throughout the day than one large serving. So start slow and low.
Do I need a medical card to buy CBD?
In the state of Maryland, you do not need a medical card to purchase CBD. You typically need a medical card if you need to go into a medical dispensary to purchase marijuana. That's not to say that medical dispensaries don't sell CBD. In fact, many of them do. And our product is actually sold in the wellness center of some of our medical dispensary partners. But generally speaking, you do not need a medical card to purchase CBD because it contains under 0.3% THC, not enough to get you intoxicated, and therefore 100% legal and not part of the medical marijuana program.
Where should I buy CBD?
You can find CBD in the gas station and on the shelves at the food store, but think about it. If it's a whole plant extract, is that where you get it? Would you go to a natural food store or buy from a gas station? You also have to be careful because it's not approved for sale on Amazon. So if you've spent $5 and you bought a huge jug of CBD oil from Amazon, you may not have bought the right product. So you definitely want to read the labels.
Is CBD safe for pets?
Yeah, very safe and recommended. Similar to humans, pets suffer from things like anxiety. In fact, my pups suffer from separation anxiety when I leave the house. Also, as pets get older, their joints get achy. So again, similar to humans, if you can get that CBD right in your dog's mouth or pet's mouth, great. If not, try putting it on a soft treat or try putting it in their food. Also, if your pet's got an achy joint, you can put a couple of drops and rub it directly on there. It'll give them relief. And it's even nice if they lick it off because it's kind of healthy for them. Remember, pets can't lie to you. There's no placebo effect. They either feel better and perform better or they don't.
Why don't you have a cream?
Our product is a whole plant extract. It's an oil. We don't make any creams and we don't make any pet treats or gummies. At the bottom line is we don't like to mix it with anything. In the case of topicals, sometimes people add things, we don't. In the case of gummies, people add things like sugar, we don't. In the case of pet treats, we're very particular about what we feed our pets. That's why we only make an oil. And that oil is versatile enough to not only use in all of those ways, but also topically on the skin.
And people always ask us why. Why don't we mix those? Because there are so many products out there. And that's really the answer, because nothing on the marketplace is like our product, where we do a whole plant extract and really focused on that itself, not the other ingredients. You can get those somewhere else.
When you have a versatile product that's potent, safe, and effective, you really don't need any of the other things mixed in with it.
Is there some stigma around CBD?
Yes, definitely. Because a lot of people who don't know the difference view it as the devil's lettuce, that
Yeah.
marijuana stuff that gets you high.
It smells the same. It looks the same. People just whop you into that group of, a 60 stoner. Hey man, peace.
That's the stigma.
That's
Not
the stigma.
because it's not effective.
Right. And it's non-psychoactive, meaning it's not intoxicating. It doesn't get you high. CBD doesn't. It doesn't make you act really any other different way. It helps reduce inflammation and calm the body. So
One of our favorite comments that we get is, I prefer the real stuff. We always say, if you prefer the real stuff, then you qualify for actually a taste test of ours.
Why did you start Max and Stevens?
Well, we started Max and Stevens for one reason and one reason only, and that is because people need a healthy product and a brand that they can trust in this industry.
Yeah, I was going to say we definitely didn't do this for the money. I mean, neither one of us are getting rich off of this endeavor, maybe one day. But in the meantime, this is a product that we use, our families use, our pets use, our friends use, and our network is getting larger and larger because a lot of you are using it. And I think that's the thing that keeps us up at night, and that's the thing that actually makes us sleep.
And it's personal for us.
Very personal. Well, I'm glad we had the opportunity to do this, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to talk to all of you and get some questions answered. Thank you very much for taking the time to spend with us and give us the ability to talk about this stuff. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it means a lot that you listen to it, and we appreciate it. If you currently are struggling with some sort of physical pain or some emotional pain or stress and faced with a decision on trying to either have a procedure done or take some different medications, we just urge you talk to your physician about how cannabis or CBD, the hemp plant, may be able to help you and relieve some of those pains and anxiety naturally without the side effects, or even help deal with some of the side effects from medications or treatment that you're currently on.
Listen, Hollywood stars, we're not. There's nothing famous
Come
about
on,
us.
man.
This is what we do for real. So if you have questions that we haven't answered, we want you to call us. The number is 443-743-2444. If you don't want to call us, text us. If you want to email us, email us. hello@maxandstevens.com. We also have a website, understandingcbd.com. On that website, we have a lot of blog articles answering a lot of questions, every subject you can imagine, and it's fully searchable. In addition to that, we have all of our radio show podcasts available on that website also for your listening pleasure. If you're a podcast person and you want to use another service, we're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Just search for Understanding CBD with Max
And Steven.
Thank you.